imagine for a moment a version of yourself that already has everything you've ever wanted. The perfect career, deep inner peace, the love and fulfillment you've always dreamed of. That version of you is not just a fantasy. It exists. Right now, in another reality, another timeline, another dimension, there is a version of you who has already figured it all out, who has overcome every obstacle you're facing today. But here's something even more mind-blowing. You are connected to that version of yourself right now. You are not separate from them. The struggles you face, the doubts that hold you back, the dreams you're chasing, all of it has already been resolved and realized by your parallel self. The only question is, are you ready to reach across time and space to connect with them? Your life, as you know it, is just one branch of an infinite tree. Every choice you've ever made, every road you didn't take, every skill you've yet to master, it all exists in different realities, playing out as alternate versions of you. You may think you are confined to this one version of reality, but in truth, you are part of a vast network of consciousness, an interconnected web of possibilities where everything you desire has already been achieved by another version of you. Think about it. The only reason you haven't stepped into that reality yet is because you've been told that time is linear, that life moves in a straight line from past to future, like pages in a book being turned one by one. But what if that's all an illusion? What if, instead of a straight path, time is more like a vast ocean where every moment, past, present, and future, exists all at once? That means your future self, the one who has already succeeded, is not some distant dream. They are real, and they are waiting for you to recognize them. Now, what if I told you that you could tap into that parallel self and bring their wisdom, their power, their success into your current reality? What if you could merge with the version of you that has already conquered every fear, unlocked every opportunity, and become everything you wish to be? This isn't magic. This isn't fiction. This is about expanding your consciousness beyond the illusion of time and stepping into the infinite possibilities that already exist. To do this, you must first understand that the present moment is not just a stepping stone to the future. The present is a gateway, a portal that connects every version of you across different dimensions. Right now, in this very moment, you can choose to align yourself with the version of you who has already achieved everything you want. But to do that, you must first let go of the belief that the future is something far away. Because it's not. The future already exists. You just haven't stepped into it yet. Think of it like tuning into a radio station. Right now, multiple stations are broadcasting at the same time, but you can only hear the one you're tuned into. Your consciousness works the same way. If you're tuned into a reality where you're struggling, where success seems distant, where obstacles feel impossible to overcome, that's the frequency you will continue to experience. But if you shift your focus, if you align your energy with the version of you that is already successful, then your reality begins to change. This is how you bridge the gap between your current self and your parallel selves. By stepping into the mindset, emotions, and actions of the version of you who has already made it. You are not simply observing that future. You are becoming it. The moment you start acting, thinking, and feeling like the person who has already achieved what you want, your external world must follow suit. This is not just about wishful thinking. It's about understanding that reality is fluid, that your perception shapes your experience, and that when you align your vibration with a new reality, you naturally begin to attract the circumstances, people, and opportunities that match it. But how do you actually do this? How do you connect with your parallel self and bring their knowledge into your present life? The answer lies in breaking free from the limits of linear time. You must learn to see time as something that can be bent, shaped, and manipulated by your consciousness. When you expand your awareness beyond the idea that time is something you are trapped in, you will begin to realize that the reality you desire is already waiting for you. To connect with your parallel self, you must practice intentional alignment. This means shifting your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs to match the frequency of the life you want to step into. Your parallel self is not just an idea. It is a real, living version of you that you can access right now. The more you open your mind to this truth, the easier it becomes to bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Imagine yourself standing in front of a mirror that doesn't just reflect your image, but shows you a version of yourself that already has everything you desire. That mirror is real, and it exists within your consciousness. The only difference between you and your parallel self is the perspective you choose to embody. When you shift your focus to align with the mindset, confidence, and energy of the version of you that has already achieved your goals, you begin to merge with that reality. This is where the true transformation begins. This is when you start noticing that problems that once seemed overwhelming become easier to solve. Opportunities that once felt out of reach suddenly appear before you. People who can help you along your journey begin entering your life at the right time. These are not coincidences. These are signs that you are shifting into alignment with the version of yourself who has already succeeded. The key to making this shift permanent is consistency. Every single day, you must remind yourself that the reality you desire is not something you have to chase. It is something you have to become. Every thought, every action, every decision you make should come from the perspective of your parallel self. If you want to attract wealth, think like someone who is already abundant. If you want to be healthy, act like someone who already values their well-being. If you want to achieve your dreams, move through life with the confidence of someone who has already done it. Because the truth is, that version of you already exists. You are not trying to create a new reality. You are simply tuning into the one that has always been there, waiting for you to recognize it. Everything around you, every moment you experience, every path you take, is the result of the frequency you are tuned into. You are not merely existing. You are actively creating. The energy you project, the beliefs you hold, the emotions you nurture, they are shaping the world around you, molding reality to reflect exactly what you expect. But here's the truth most people never realize. You are not bound to just one version of reality. You are shifting between infinite possibilities every single moment. Every choice you make, every thought you dwell on, every emotion you entertain, it all determines which version of reality you are stepping into. Most people think their future is something they move toward, but in reality, the future is something you are selecting, moment by moment, based on your energy and focus. Right now, you are standing at a crossroads. In one direction is the version of you that continues living in limitation, held back by doubt, fear, and hesitation. But in the other direction, That's the path where you step into the highest version of yourself. The version that has already unlocked the life you dream of. This isn't just a philosophy. It's not just a theory. This is something that has been proven time and time again, not just in spiritual teachings, but even in quantum physics. Scientists have discovered that reality is not solid, not fixed, not set in stone. The moment you observe something, you influence it. The way you look at the world changes the world itself. So what happens when you stop looking at yourself as someone who is struggling to reach success and instead start seeing yourself as someone who has already achieved it? What happens when you stop asking, "How do I become successful?" and start declaring, "I am already successful"? You shift, you align, you begin to attract the circumstances, people, and opportunities that match the energy of your new reality. Because the truth is, you do not need to chase success. You do not need to fight for it. You only need to align with it. Success, abundance, happiness, these are not things that exist outside of you. They are frequencies you can choose to step into at any moment. The reason most people never reach their fullest potential is because they are waiting for their circumstances to change before they allow themselves to feel different. But that's not how reality works. Reality is a mirror, reflecting back to you whatever you project. If you continue to hold on to feelings of lack, of struggle, of limitation, then reality has no choice but to keep giving you more of the same. But the moment you shift your internal state, when you start feeling abundant, feeling confident, feeling successful, before you even see the results, that's when the external world begins to rearrange itself to match your new vibration. Think of it like this. Imagine you are standing in a hallway filled with doors, and behind each door is a different version of your life. Some doors lead to struggle, some lead to mediocrity, but some lead to everything you have ever wanted. The problem is, most people stand in the hallway, staring at the door they don't want, focusing all their energy on it, complaining about it, feeling stuck in front of it. And the longer they focus on it, the more real it becomes. But all they have to do is turn their attention to a different door, a different possibility, and step into it. Because here's what no one tells you. You can shift realities at any moment. You are not stuck. You never have been. The version of you who has already succeeded, they are on the other side of that door. The only thing keeping you from stepping through it is your attachment to the version of reality you think you are stuck in. But the moment you decide, truly decide, that you are ready to step into a new timeline, everything changes. But it's not just about deciding. It's about embodying. It's about stepping into the mindset, the energy, the actions of the version of you who already has everything you want. Imagine right now that the future version of you, the one who has already made it, already succeeded, already unlocked their full potential, has traveled back in time and stepped into your body. How would they act? How would they think? What choices would they make? What would they let go of? This is not just imagination. This is how you collapse the timeline between where you are and where you want to be. You stop seeing success as something far away, something you need to reach for. Instead, you become it. You embody it. You make decisions from that place, not from where you are, but from where you are going. And the moment you do that, reality has no choice but to shift around you. Because the universe does not respond to what you want, it responds to what you are. If you want to be wealthy, start feeling wealthy now. If you want to be confident, Start acting with confidence now. If you want to be successful, stop waiting for proof and start living as if it's already done. Because when you align with the frequency of your desire, the physical reality has no choice but to catch up. But here's the challenge. Most people are stuck in a loop. They wake up every day and reinforce the same patterns, think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions. They keep looking at their current circumstances as proof of what's possible, instead of understanding that their current circumstances are just a reflection of past energy. If you keep looking at where you are as proof of where you'll be, you will never shift. You will keep recreating the same reality over and over again. The key is to start seeing beyond what's in front of you, to stop reacting to your present and start creating your future, to understand that the life you want is already real. It's just waiting for you to step into it. And the only thing separating you from it is the story you keep telling yourself. Are you telling yourself that success takes years of struggle, that you're not good enough, that you don't have what it takes? If so, that is the reality you will continue to experience. But the moment you shift that story, everything begins to change. What if you started telling yourself that success is inevitable, that you are powerful beyond measure, that you are constantly moving toward your highest timeline? Because the truth is, you are. Every thought, every choice, every emotion is determining which version of reality you are stepping into. And if you want to shift into the version of you that already has everything you desire, you must first let go of the belief that it's out of reach. Because it's not. It never was. You were always meant for more. You were always meant to step into your highest potential. You were always meant to unlock the reality where you thrive. And the only thing standing in your way is the illusion that you can't. But that illusion is just that, an illusion. And the moment you decide to see beyond it, the moment you decide to step fully into your power, is the moment you will realize it was always yours to claim. Everything you desire, everything you dream of, is not just some distant fantasy. It is a reality that already exists. Right now, in this moment, there are infinite versions of you, each living a different outcome, based on the choices they have made, based on the energy they have aligned with. And the version of you who has already achieved everything you want, they are not separate from you. They are waiting for you to recognize them, to step into their reality, to claim the life that has always been yours. The only reason you are not already living that life is because you have been conditioned to believe in limitations. You have been told that success takes years, that happiness is hard to find, that you must struggle before you can thrive. But what if that was never true? What if the only thing keeping you from stepping into your highest timeline is the belief that you are not already there? Because here's the truth. Reality does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you are. You do not attract what you wish for. You attract what you embody. And right now, whether you realize it or not, you are constantly reinforcing an identity, a version of yourself, through your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Every day, you wake up and step into a specific version of reality based on the choices you make, the mindset you hold, and the energy you carry. If you wake up feeling defeated, telling yourself that nothing ever changes, that you are stuck, that life is hard, then that is the reality you will continue to experience. But if you wake up and decide that today, you will embody the version of yourself who is already successful, already abundant, already thriving, then your world will begin to shift. Because the universe has no choice but to reflect back to you what you believe to be true. This is how reality works. This is how people go from struggling to thriving, from being unknown to being successful, from feeling lost to feeling unstoppable. They don't wait for circumstances to change before they change themselves. They become the energy of what they desire first, and then the physical world rearranges itself to match that frequency. Think of it like a movie. Right now, there are countless films playing in different theaters. If you walk into a cinema and don't like the movie, you don't argue with the screen. You don't demand that the characters change or that the plot bends to your liking. You simply walk out and choose a different film. Life works the same way. If you don't like the reality you're experiencing, you don't have to stay stuck in it. You don't have to keep watching the same movie, repeating the same struggles, playing the same role over and over again. You can step out of that version of reality and into a new one. But to do that, you must first shift your internal state. Because here's the secret most people never realize. Your current reality is not the cause of your thoughts and emotions. Your thoughts and emotions are the cause of your reality. If you believe success is hard, if you believe happiness is rare, if you believe that life is working against you, then that is exactly what you will continue to experience. Not because it is objectively true, but because that is the frequency you are tuned into. But if you decide, right now, to shift your perspective, to see life as something that is working for you instead of against you, to believe that you are already aligned with abundance, with success, with happiness, then everything begins to change. Not because you are forcing it, but because you are finally allowing it. Most people spend their lives blocking the very things they desire. They say they want success, but deep down, they don't believe they are worthy of it. They say they want love, but their subconscious mind tells them they will always be alone. They say they want happiness, but they continue to hold on to the pain of the past. And as long as those limiting beliefs remain, they will continue to experience the same reality over and over again. But what happens when you let go of those beliefs? What happens when you start living as if you are already the version of yourself who has everything you want? That's when the shift occurs. That's when life starts bringing you new opportunities, new connections, new paths that were always there, but you weren't tuned into them before. Because the truth is, abundance is already surrounding you. Success is already available to you. Love, happiness, fulfillment, they are already part of your existence. The only thing you have to do is stop resisting them. Stop telling yourself that they are hard to find, that they are far away, that they are not meant for you. The moment you remove those blocks, the moment you start living as if everything you desire is already yours, that's when reality bends in your favor. So the question is, are you ready to step into that version of yourself? Are you ready to stop waiting and start becoming? Because the future you are dreaming of is already real. You don't have to chase it. You just have to align with it. And that starts now. Imagine a world where every dream you've ever had is already a reality. A world where you have already achieved your deepest desires. Where success is not something you chase. It's something you live. That world is not just a fantasy. It exists. Right now, in a parallel reality, there is a version of you who has already conquered every obstacle, unlocked every opportunity, and stepped into the life you've always envisioned. The only question is, Are you ready to meet them? You see, life as you know it is not as fixed as you've been led to believe. The struggles you face, the challenges you encounter, the goals that seem just out of reach, none of these define you. They are merely one version of reality among an infinite number of possibilities. Somewhere out there, another version of you has already found the answers you seek. Another version of you has already built the success you crave, already discovered the love and happiness you long for, already become the person you aspire to be. But here's where things get truly fascinating. You are not separate from that version of yourself. You are connected, linked through an unseen network of consciousness, through the very fabric of existence itself. That version of you, the one who has already succeeded, is not unreachable. They are waiting for you to recognize them, to connect with them, to tap into their knowledge and bring it into your life. Most people go through life believing that their path is linear, that time moves in a straight line from past to future, that they are bound by their circumstances. But what if that was all an illusion? What if, instead of being a single, fixed path, time is actually a vast ocean where every possible version of your life already exists? And what if you had the power to step into the version of reality that you truly desire? Because the truth is, you do. The only reason you haven't experienced it yet is because you've been trained to see time and reality in a limited way. You've been conditioned to believe that success is something that happens later, that happiness is something you must earn, that you have to work and struggle before you are allowed to thrive. But what if success isn't something you need to chase? What if it's something you can align with right now? Because here's what they never taught you. You are shifting realities all the time. Every choice you make, every thought you dwell on, every emotion you hold on to is directing you toward a specific version of reality. Most people are unaware of this, so they continue choosing the same version of life over and over again, repeating the same patterns, reinforcing the same beliefs, never realizing that they are constantly selecting their reality. But the moment you become aware of this, the moment you wake up to the fact that reality is fluid, that time is not linear, that your future is not something waiting for you, but something you are actively creating, that's when everything changes. Because now, instead of feeling like life is happening to you, you realize that you are in control. You are the architect of your own experience. You are not bound to a single reality. You are free to step into the one that serves you best. So the question is, how do you do it? How do you step into the version of reality where you have already succeeded, where you have already found the answers, where you are already the person you wish to become? The first step is to change how you see yourself. Right now, your identity is shaped by your past experiences, by the things you've been told, by the beliefs you've adopted over the years. But that identity is not set in stone. It is just one possible version of you, a version that exists because you have chosen to embody it. But the moment you decide to step into another version of yourself, the moment you start seeing yourself as the successful, confident, powerful person you want to be, you begin to align with that reality. Because the truth is, the version of you who has already succeeded does not see themselves as struggling. They do not doubt their path. They do not question whether they are capable. They know they are capable. They move with confidence. They act with certainty. And if you want to step into that reality, You must start embodying that version of yourself right now. This isn't about pretending. It's not about tricking yourself. It's about recognizing that you already have access to that version of yourself. You just have to choose to step into it. Imagine, for a moment, that the future version of you, the one who has already figured it all out, has traveled back in time and is standing in your shoes right now. How would they act? What choices would they make? What thoughts would they entertain? What fears would they let go of? That version of you is real. It already exists. And the more you start aligning with their mindset, their energy, their way of moving through the world, the more you start to shift into their reality. Because here's the secret. Your external world will always reflect your internal state. If you keep seeing yourself as someone who is struggling, who is trying, who is waiting for success, then that is the reality you will continue to experience. But the moment you start seeing yourself as someone who is already successful, already powerful, already aligned with everything you desire, the world around you will begin to shift. People will treat you differently. Opportunities will appear. Doors that were once closed will suddenly open. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. You are not separate from the reality you desire. You are not distant from the version of yourself who has already succeeded. Because here's what most people don't realize. The reason they don't have what they want isn't because it's out of reach. It's because, deep down, they don't believe they are worthy of it. They don't believe they are capable of it. They don't see themselves as the kind of person who can have it. But the moment you start believing, the moment you see yourself differently, that's when reality bends in your favor. You don't need to wait. You don't need permission. You don't need to prove anything. You simply need to decide. Decide that you are already aligned with success. Decide that you are already stepping into your highest self. Decide that you are already the person you've always wanted to become. Because the moment you decide, the moment you shift your perception, the moment you start acting as if your success is already real, that's when everything around you begins to change. And suddenly, the life you once thought was just a dream, it becomes your reality. The life you experience each day, the version of yourself that wakes up every morning, is only a fragment of what is possible. Beyond what you see, beyond the limits of your current perception, there are parallel versions of yourself living realities where the obstacles that seem insurmountable today have already been conquered. These versions of you have accessed wisdom, power, and success beyond what you might think is possible. And the truth is, you can connect with them right now. This is not magic. It is not fiction. It is about expanding your awareness, stepping beyond the illusion of limitation, and understanding the deeper nature of consciousness and reality. What you are about to discover has the potential to shift the way you see yourself and your entire existence. Now, let's dive deeper into the nature of these parallel selves. Imagine for a moment that there are countless versions of you, each living in different realities, walking different paths, making different choices. These versions of you are all connected, like branches of a great tree, all stemming from the same source, yet each experiencing life from a unique perspective. Every decision you have ever made, or have not yet made, exists in a parallel version of reality. Every skill you have not yet mastered, every challenge you have not yet overcome, there is a version of you who has already done it. And these alternate selves are not just abstract ideas. They are living, existing expressions of your greater consciousness. Think of it this way. The version of you that you know is merely a single frame in a much larger film. It is a snapshot of who you are at this moment, but it does not represent the totality of your being. The real you, the full essence of who you are, extends across multiple dimensions, holding an unimaginable amount of knowledge, wisdom, and experience. Now, consider this. What if the life you are living right now is only a fraction of a much greater existence? What if the choices and experiences of your parallel selves could impact your current life in ways you have never considered? Once you accept that these parallel versions of you exist, you begin to understand that their wisdom, their achievements, their triumphs are not separate from you. They are accessible to you, waiting for you to tap into them. The only question is, are you ready to unlock that power? By expanding your awareness, you can begin to bridge the gap between your current self and these parallel selves. This is not just about believing in the possibility. It is about learning how to connect with these alternate realities, how to step into the life you desire by aligning with the version of you who is already living it. When you grasp this concept, reality begins to change. You no longer see your future as something distant and uncertain. You see it as something that already exists, something you can reach out to and claim. You begin to understand that life is not something that simply happens to you. It is something you can shape, something you can design with intention. The key to accessing this power lies in how you perceive time and consciousness. Most people believe time is linear, a straight path from past to present to future. But what if time is not a line at all? What if, instead, it is an ocean of infinite possibilities, where every moment, past, present, and future, exists all at once? Your parallel selves exist within this ocean. They are not behind you, not ahead of you. They exist now. And the way to connect with them is to expand your perception beyond the illusion of time. You must begin to see time as flexible, something that bends and shifts with your consciousness. When you do this, you will realize that your desired future, the one where you have already succeeded, is not waiting for you in the distance. It is here, now, in a parallel reality. And the only thing keeping you from accessing it is your perception. The first step to shifting into your parallel self is changing how you view the present moment. The present is not just a passing moment between past and future. It is an infinite field of possibility. It is the point where all realities converge, where past, present, and future are interconnected. In this field, you have the power to connect with a more advanced version of yourself, the version that has already achieved what you desire, the version that has already learned the lessons, gained the wisdom, and stepped fully into the reality you are striving for. But here is the secret. You must let go of the belief that your future is something distant. You must begin to see it as something that is already real, already accessible. The more you shift your perception, the more you will realize that you are not chasing a new reality. You are stepping into one that already exists. And this is where the transformation truly begins. This is not just about imagining a better future. It is about embodying it now. When you connect with your parallel self, you are not just receiving insight. You are integrating that version of yourself into your present life. You are collapsing the barriers of time and space, merging the experiences, the wisdom, and the success of your alternate self into who you are now. And the more you align with this version of yourself, the more you begin to see your reality shift. This is a process of conscious expansion, a journey of stepping beyond the illusion of limitation. The moment you open your mind to the possibility that you are not confined to a single reality, you begin to navigate multiple dimensions at once. And within these dimensions lies your greatest power, the ability to draw from any version of yourself, to bring their knowledge, their strength, and their success into the life you are living today. But how do you do this? How do you take the first step toward aligning with your highest, most evolved self? The answer lies in a practice known as quantum jumping, a technique that allows you to shift your consciousness to tune into a reality where the version of you who has already achieved what you desire exists. This is not about changing who you are. It is about aligning with the version of yourself who has already mastered what you seek. Every possibility, every outcome already exists within the vast field of potential realities. In one version of your life, you have already achieved what you want. In another, you are still searching. The power of quantum jumping is that it allows you to choose which reality you experience, not by physically moving, but by shifting your vibration, your energy, to match the version of yourself that is already living that life. So how does this work? And how can you begin to apply it in your life? The answers may surprise you, because shifting realities is not as complicated as you might think. And once you understand how to do it, everything, your choices, your mindset, your entire experience of life, will begin to transform. The key to shifting into your parallel self lies in understanding how consciousness interacts with reality. Most people believe they are bound by their circumstances, by their past decisions, by the limitations of their environment. But what if I told you that you are not as fixed as you think? What if I told you that your consciousness has the power to break free from these constraints and step into an entirely different version of yourself? One that has already mastered the challenges you currently face. You must begin to see yourself not as a single, static being, but as a fluid, multidimensional presence. The version of you who has already succeeded, who has already unlocked the wisdom and the success you desire, is not separate from you. It exists right now in a parallel timeline, waiting for you to align with it. But how do you do this? How do you connect with this parallel self and bring its knowledge into your present experience? The first step is shifting your perception of time. Most people live their lives thinking that time is a straight line, that the future is something they must wait for, that change is a slow, linear process. But the truth is, time does not move in a single direction. It exists in a vast field of possibilities where every version of your future already exists. This means that the reality you desire is not something you must create. It is something you must tune into. Just as a radio has multiple stations broadcasting at once, reality holds every possible version of your life, all playing simultaneously. The only question is, which one are you tuned into? If you are experiencing lack, struggle, or limitation, it is not because that is the only reality available to you. It is simply because that is the reality you are aligned with. The moment you shift your alignment, the moment you begin thinking, feeling, and acting as if you are already the person you wish to become,